morning, it's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Hello and good morning, you guys. Sorry about the delay. I had to stop don't worry, I am officially the headmaster of this shit show, or the ringmaster of this shit show, from going to a Christian school as a water tumbler for my 9-year-old. And then everyone decided that they had to drive the speed limit coming back. I was like, no, you cannot have this on day you go to chapel day. Like, I am just trying to stay off the lamb and out of, remedial Christianity classes for parents, I'm sure. I was just like, child, when they do my snapped episode, you are going to be 99% of it. But our first story this morning was Pinnacle Man mystery solved after 4 decades, after he was frozen in a cave, or found frozen in a cave. So Pennsylvania authorities have identified the frozen remains of a man who was discovered in 1977 in a cave below the Pinnacle on the Appalachian Trail. Dubbed Pinnacle Man, the Berks County Coroner's Office revealed his identity as 27-year-old Nicholas Paul Grubb from Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, at a news conference. 2 hikers discovered the man's body on the 16th of January, 1977 in Albany Township. That January had happened to be one of the coldest months in Pennsylvania's history. The snow during that winter reached 49 inches. Grubb had been described as a white male between the ages of 25 and 35 with blue eyes and curly reddish hair. He was thought to have stood 5'10 or 5'11 and weighed 155 pounds. Now, following the autopsy that was conducted in 1977 at Reading Hospital, the man's cause of death was listed as an overdose of phenobarbital and, and pentobarbital, which I didn't know there were 2 different things, but yikes. So his manner of death was declared an overdose. There were no signs of foul play. No one claimed his body, and the case went cold for decades. He was buried at Berks County's Potter's Field, a county plot of land designed for unmarked graves. In August 2019, the body was exhumed from the Potter's Field and taken to Reading Hospital, where he was examined by a forensic anthropologist, forensic pathologist, and a forensic odontologist. Samples taken from the forensic dental team were shipped to the University of North Texas to their Center for Human Identification. The department has been successful in solving cold cases in the past. The center conducted tests, but those examinations did not yield any results. My guess is they did an isotope test. So this is a really cool thing, and diatome test, where they can sometimes look into your bones, and based on sort of the mineral uptake of the area that you live, they can kind of base where you might have grown up or where you might have been living the past several years, pre your death. So that's pretty cool, but they might not have been able to get any of that. Earlier this month, however, a cold case officer found Grubb's original fingerprint cards and submitted them to the FBI for examination. The agent found a match in less than an hour, and on August 27th, we finally got his identity. Someone related to Grubb confirmed his identity and provided documents to the authorities. Now his family wants him buried in a family plot, and the coroner's office is working to bring him home. So, oh, Christine, that is absolutely wonderful. Your hard work is paying off. Those first 100 and 200 were honestly really, really hard to get. So that is so great, Christine. I love seeing people grow. Just absolutely awesome. And I know I missed the good morning, so a blanket good morning to everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. I just, had to keep my son from taking a curse word tumbler into school. He was like, if I can't read the words, then I can't get in trouble. I'm like, no, but your teacher can. And I don't need parent judgment right now. Oh, good Lord. So there you go. I am glad that his family has finally gotten answers. I can imagine the hole in the family that is left there every holiday, every, family event, not knowing what happened to your loved one. So at least they got that kind of closure, and makes me scared to ever go on the Appalachian Trail. Not that I would, but now this next story is makes me big mad for so many reasons. But this needs to get changed. I don't care what politicians are talking about right now, but let's look at how military bases have mold, mice, roaches, and brown water in living quarters and dining area. The advocacy group Hots and Cots says it collected the photos from anonymous service members to push the Pentagon to fix living conditions in military housing. I have had friends who have gone through military housing, just hell. And they deal with a lot of the black mold, the bad water, the infestations. Even in, military family housing, we are having some of these issues. I have never lived on a base. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's a low bar. I mean, though I still want to see one of her striptease, Bible sermons, because I think that would be the chef's kiss, like cherry on top of the absurdity of this year. Just doop. 8 groups that advocate for military personnel and families are calling on the Pentagon to address what they say are unsanitary and dangerous living conditions on U.S. bases worldwide, including mold, bad air, contaminated water, lead paint, and roaches and other pests. Thank you for the super chat. Obscure Destinations Outdoors. You know what? Cattle and keeping your ranch going requires so much work. And I appreciate on the days that you can, join in. So thank you for joining in on the days that you can. And Mr. Moe, praise be upon him for, although I will explain to you how I reacted to the Tumblr thing. So look, he might need some brownie points. I might not have been too kind to him. Thank you for this. He put up my board, so now I don't have to have the thing right behind me and nearly knock it over every single time I do. But when I asked Mr. Moe on the phone, like, hey, did you let youngest, most feral make a water bottle? And he said, yeah, I did. And he was really proud. He's like, yeah, he made it him own self, and it was really good. I was like, did you happen to gander at what he took? And he's like, nope. And I was like, well, your son just declared himself the ringleader of this here shit show. So way to be an observant parent. Thank you so much. Now, a kind wife would have said, hey, let's make it a chance to, check things that youngest, most feral does before he leaves the house. But I was just not on that level today. The effort, led by the organization called Hots and Cots, is meant to push the military to fix these issues now rather than wait for any of the renovations planned by the Pentagon which advocates argue could take years. I mean, this is in a DFAC, so if you don't speak military, this would be a feeding facility. Yes, a dining hall, if you will. Don't you feel comfy with that? The Department of Defense must act sooner rather than later to address the quality of life issues facing our service members. Rob Evans, founder of Hots and Cots, said Tuesday in a statement, "Every day these issues go unresolved is another day that the well-being and morale of those who serve is compromised." Photos collected by Hots and Cots are provided exclusively to NBC News revealed the group that says there's mold covering a ceiling of an Army dining facility in Korea, a roach on a counter at Texas Air Force Base, and dark brown water running from the faucet at a New Jersey base, and more. Just absolutely ridiculous. NBC News has not independently verified the photos, but Evans said he and his team of volunteers evaluate and assess photos to ensure that they are legitimate. In a statement, a Pentagon spokesperson noted that 2 weeks ago, on August 12th, the Defense Department had launched its housing feedback system. Yeah, no. Which lets active duty service members and their families submit feedback about their housing. Well, not special. We don't have clean water. Remember Legionnaire's disease? Maybe you would think Legionnaire's disease would be a big, I don't know, wake up call, but no, these are situations that we are still putting people in who are fighting for our country, who made the choice regardless of what prompted them to. You know, it could have been college money, patriotism, a way to get out of the house and see the world when you're 18. I don't care, but we have a moral obligation to take care of our soldiers. I'm not one of those people that thinks just because you put on a uniform, you know, you become Captain America, but the nicest, kindest, most awesome people I've ever known have had military service experience or public service, like firefighter, that nurse, EMT, that kind of thing. And the fact that we can't even guarantee that they're going to have water to drink that's healthy, that they're not going to be surrounded by mold, or that they'll be in rooms that are 93 degrees. This is I give two craps about my soldiers learning, sensitivity training. I would like to make sure that they're healthy and they're in a place that isn't going to get them sick. And I don't think that's too much to ask. How much have we spent on these, sensitivity trainings when we could have put this into housing? Now, in September 2023, the Government Accountability Office released a report highlighting poor conditions in government-owned barracks and military housing owned and operated by private companies. It included examples of housing with mold and mildew, broken windows, overflowing sewage, and recommended that the Department of Defense provide more oversight of housing. Among the problems the report identified were that DoD did not set clear inspection standards or provide guidance on how to address issues. Evans created Cots and Hots, an app where service members can upload photos and reviews of housing and dining facilities anonymous. And after reading the GOA report, since starting the app, users have uploaded more than 8,000 photos and about 400 reviews, both positive and negative. Evans, who served in the Army Reserve and Army National Guard for 12 years, said he wanted to give men and women a way around the bottlenecks to getting help when faced with poor living conditions. While he told NBC News he did not face dangerous living conditions himself while in uniform, he did have deployments where the barracks were not ideal. This stuff matters, he said. If we're going to ask someone to enlist and serve their country, this matters. He said it's very disappointing that the military has not yet addressed some known issues, but said that there are leaders in the military who genuinely want to help and make changes. Evans says he allows people to report anonymously because it removes a barrier or fear of speaking the truth, especially for enlisted troops. Hot and Cots does not collect personal or demographic information about its users. Representative Richard Hudson of North Carolina backed Evans' effort on Tuesday. Every year, the Army appropriates money for improving our soldiers' housing. Where the hell is that going then? Hudson, whose North Carolina district includes Fort Liberty, formerly known as Fort Bragg, and said in a statement, the problem is that these funds are not being used efficiently to ensure necessary basic living conditions for our service members. The Army needs to get serious about addressing these appalling conditions our soldiers are living on in bases like Fort Bragg, Fort Liberty, Hudson said. As a representative of the largest military base in the world, I will continue to hold Army Secretary Christine Wormuth accountable until our troops receive high quality housing they deserve. Well, sir, I wouldn't hold your breath. And then just the piece de resistance. We've got cockroach, near medical gloves, which, definitely makes me feel super good. And then a mouse. Just I I can't with politicians. You denigrate our military at every step. You want us to fight all of these, police missions around the world that no one really wants to and are inherently unpopular. And then you can't even give us a decent place to live when someone signs up for the military? Disgraceful. Well, the nassholes are at it again. Let's see what we figured out about this Boeing Starliner capsule. Well, it's going to return, but it will fly home without its crew. These poor guys. I mean, these poor two astronauts were like, I'm going to have fun up here. And then NASA's like, you're never coming home. Have fun, but we'll send you some astronaut ice cream. After 12 weeks in space, Boeing's Starliner spacecraft is finally set to return home from the International Space Station on September the 6th, albeit without its two-person crew. The troubled aircraft will undock from the orbiting laboratory at around 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It will spend about 6 hours maneuvering closer to home before landing around midnight in New Mexico's White Sands Space Harbor. The astronauts who rode aboard the Starliner to the space station on June 5th, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, will remain on board the orbiting laboratory. NASA announced on August 24th that the experts were wary of gas leaks and issues with the Starliner's capsule propulsion system, leading the agency to determine the spacecraft was not safe enough to finish its mission with the crew on board. The uncrewed Starliner spacecraft will perform a fully autonomous return with flight controllers at Starliner Mission Control in Houston and Boeing Mission Control Center in Florida, according to a NASA update posted on Thursday. Teams on the ground will be able to remotely command the spacecraft if needed through necessary maneuvers for the safe undocking, reentry, and parachute-assisted landing in Southwest United States. How the Starliner vehicle performs during this return trip could be critical to, the future of Boeing's overall partnership. Yeah, I'm hoping that they don't send a bunch of us third graders around to watch an explosion, on live TV like we did in the 80s, but at least it will be unmanned. I'm kind of guessing that this thing is going to break up on reentry and be a fiery meteor of Boeing competence just streaking across the sky. But let's hope it all ends safely so that Boeing can be launched out of an airlock like aliens. Boeing, you just cannot know. But unfortunately, this is yet another mark against Boeing's already damaged reputation, regardless of if it survives its reentry. Repeating this test flight and implementing redesigns on the Starliner could cost the company billions of dollars on top of millions of dollars on top of the roughly 1.5 billion the company has already recorded in losses on the Starliner program. Ah, true. Good idea. All of us really want to complete the Boeing Starliner flight crew or flight with crew. I think unanimously we're disappointed not to be able to do that. Ken Bowersox, Associate Administrator for NASA's Space Operations Mission Directorate. No, no. The longer you make your organization's names, the longer I don't trust you. And if you ever use the term directorate, you obviously had bad juju. I don't trust you. Now, throughout the weeks that engineers on the ground worked to understand the thruster issues and leaks plaguing the Starliner, Boeing maintained that it believed that the vehicle would be safe to bring the astronauts home. Boeing, that's what you said about all of your airplanes. And I feel like Maury Povich. Survey says, or the lie detector test says, that is a lie. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, Williams and Whitmore will, come back home on a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule no earlier than February. The Crew Dragon spacecraft has been certified to fly astronaut missions for about 4 years and has made a dozen crewed trips into orbit. It is kind of poetic justice, and I'm kind of okay with it. I really am. Ooh, I mean, I'd kind of be okay with that one. Well, if this is a story that will turn you off of baloney, if you weren't already turned off of baloney because, well, it's baloney and not spam. But blood, bugs, and mold were found in the Boar's Head plant linked to an listeria outbreak that has taken the lives of 9 people throughout the country. I assumed that there were standards in factories. I assumed people cleaned down and took care of their stuff, and you know what sucks is Boar's Head is expensive, people. If you go to the deli, we do not get Boar's Head unless we are, lottery time, okay? Health inspectors discovered dozens of disturbing violations, including the presence of bugs, pools of blood on the floor, and growing mold on equipment inside Boar's Head plant linked to deadly outbreak of listeria. Deli meats produced at Boarhead's factory in Jarrett, Virginia, were recalled last month after officials identified it as the source of the listeria outbreak, which led to 57 hospitalizations and at least 9 deaths, according to the CDC. New York has seen the most cases, with 17 residents getting sick from contaminated deli meats. 2 people have passed away in South Carolina, and there has been 1 death each in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Illinois, Florida, Tennessee, and New Mexico. The company recalled more than 9 million pounds of the ready-to-eat meat and poultry products, and infections have spread across 18 states. We deeply regret the impact this recall has had on affected families. No words can fully express our sympathies and sincere and deep hurt we feel for those who have suffered losses or endured illnesses, a Boarhead's spokesperson said in a statement Thursday. Okay, then how long does it take to teach your employees to clean things? Did you not have inspectors? I don't understand how this goes on. It takes a while for mold to build up, but ideally these should be sanitized at the end of every day. I get that these are tedious factory jobs, but these are things that need to be done every day so things are safe. I don't understand what is going on here. In addition to bacterial contamination, the Jarrett plant received 69 records of noncompliance issued by inspectors over the past year. I'm confused, USDA. Are you allowed to shut people down after they're non-compliant? Now, the records released by the Food Safety and Inspection Service revealed troubling conditions. An inspector noted a quote unquote rancid smell in the raw receiving cooler with ample amounts of blood in puddles on the floor during a February 21st visit. A black mold-like substance was seen throughout the other holding cooler on January 9th and again on 4 steel vats, along with 1 to 2 inches of meat on June 1st. Inspectors noted seeding mold in different places during 6 visits in total. On June 10th, an inspector spotted approximately 15 to 20 flies going in and out of 4 vats of pickles left in a room. Was this run by I mean, was this run by like 3 guys in their first bachelor pad? I am confused. I mean, where okay, so riddle me this, government. You've had so many complaints. You've had repeated visits where your inspectors say this is a no-go, and you continue to let them produce food. What are we paying you our taxes for? I'm confused. I feel like I am one of the Bobs, and I'm like, okay, sit down, FDA and Food Safety Administration. What would you say you do here? Oh, well, we find problems. Okay, do you ensure that companies fix them? No, that's another department. We just find the problems. Okay, well, do you forward those incidents to the enforcement arm? Well, that's someone else's job. But he's only here. He's working from home. Okay, Bobs, I'm gonna need someone to take care of this because you just done ruined my bougie deli meat because I will never buy boar's head again. Well, I don't know what to make of this story, but Norway's Princess Martha Louise to wed her California shaman. And I can only say that I think my parents were you know what? I think my parents were monumentally less disappointed in my first marriage pick than the king and queen are. I'm just gonna throw this out here. This is my boyfriend. What does he do? He's a shaman. But, like, for money, what does he do? He's a spiritual leader. Yeah, I would have nothing to say about that one. Norwegian Princess Martha Louise is set to marry American self-proclaimed shaman Derek Verrett on Saturday, a union of 2 alternative therapy devotees that has raised eyebrows in Norway. Martha Louise, a 52-year-old divorcee, claims to be clairvoyant who can speak with angels, a gift she has shared and profited from in books and courses. Oh my gosh. Please, for the love of all that is holy, God, the universe, and tiny baby Jesus, can I be invited to this wedding? Because can you imagine 2 self-proclaimed angel-speaking shamans of I I need to be I will bring some sage. I will bring some sage to the wedding, like, promise. I will even bring you some holy water. But please let me come to this because this is gonna be awesome. Verrett, 49, from California, calls himself a 6th-generation shaman who sells pricey gold medallions that, um, say he says saves lives. Quote, "I'm very spiritual. It's just nice to be with a person who embrace it," Martha Louise said, on Instagram after the couple announced their engagement in June 2022. The pair will tie a knot at a hotel in the hills of Grenranja, a picturesque village on the shores of a fjord on Norway's west coast. Festivities will kick off Thursday with a party for more than 350 guests, including Sweden's Crown Princess Victoria and her husband Daniel. According to Verrett, Saturday's nuptials are actually a renewal of the couple's vows. The spiritual guide who counts Hollywood celebrities Gwyneth Paltrow and Antonio Banderas as his followers claims he was a pharaoh in a y'all, you cannot make this shit up. I am bringing a tambourine, I am bringing a ribbon dancer thing from rhythmic gymnastics. I'm having fun with this. What are we No, the reason this is a renewal of their vows, and I'm quoting the article here, he claims he was a pharaoh in a past life and Martha Louise was already his wife. These 2 kids sound like they're gonna have so much fun. The couple's eccentricity has ruffled feathers in no nonsense Norway and has as had their disregard for science and their use of royal titles for commercial gain. To avoid confusion over her role, Martha Louise relinquished her royal duties in November 2022. She kept her title but agreed not to use it in her commercial endeavors. She has, however, already violated that agreement several times since then, most recently when she and Verrett released a wedding gin for sale in Norway that bore her princess title on the label. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. When did I need to sell my own gin, like bathtub shaman's gin? You know, if you can't get to a higher spiritual level, at least you can get drunk. He is claiming that they were already married when he was a pharaoh and she was his wife, totally uprooting, well, Ptolemaic history in Egypt, but let's ignore that. So they were already married in a past life, so this wedding is really just renewing their vows. Jedi Jess, what's hard to understand about that? Seeing as the agreement has not been respected, it's time to take away Martha Louise's princess title before King Harold sees his life's work destroyed even further. Historian and royal expert Trond Norden Iasken wrote in an opinion piece on July. The couple has also angered Norwegian media by signing deals with Hello Magazine and Netflix for exclusive coverage of the wedding. Martha Louise has 3 daughters from her first marriage to flamboyant Norwegian author Ari Behn, who took his own life 3 years after their 2016 divorce. She's the 4th in line to the Norwegian throne. Her brother, Crown Prince Haakon, is due one day to succeed King Harold. Norway's royal family has been largely spared from scandal until this chick. Norway was like, you know what? At least we keep our royals quiet. And this chick's like, hold my beer, Harry and Meghan. I would like to do some reputational damage. Now, Martha Louise and Barrett have been said to contribute to the erosion of public support for the monarchy from 81% in 2017 to 68%, a poll by public broadcaster NRK showed this week. A recent scandal involving the 27-year-old son of Crown Princess Minette Maret from a previous relationship prior to her marriage to Crown Prince Haakon has also contributed. Earlier this month, Marius Borg Holby admitted to Colombian nose powder and alcohol-fueled assault on his girlfriend, and 2 ex-girlfriends have come forward with similar claims. Well, Norway just can't get a break, but please go out dressed like Cleopatra. I need to see this absolute. Y'all know she is gonna come out. Like, we thought that Celine Dion's marriage to René was over the top Liberace insanity. Oh no, this is gonna be nuts, and I wish I could go. And it's just sad that I didn't receive my invitation yet. Just sad. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. A museum opens up a nudist exhibit for visitors who also go full frontal. It's not so strange. Y'all, what are I'm trying to get pictures where they're not just butts, but I guess how else are you going to photograph a nude person? They went from wee wee to wee wee. New York Post, I am finding you for that one. A gorgeous coastal city in France is bearing all with a new museum exhibit on nudity, which guests can view in the buff themselves, according to The Guardian. You know, I'm just look, if I look like this chick, I'd be out nude as all get out. But I have Reality and Gravity and some boxes of Mike and Ike's that I'm retaining. So that's no. That's going to be a no. The exposition was an quote unquote only natural to flash full frontal guests at the Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations in Marseille. In its recent unveiling, which cost brave visitors just $12 and change, they saw 80 some visitors putting themselves on full display in a curtain covered room. Anyone wanting to visit fully dressed during those hours may be considered a little odd, the museum spokesperson cheekily said. In recent years, a new craze for nudity in nature has arisen. That is how you get. Okay, I I get that. Uh, some people may be super okay with just seeing the human body, but I don't want to see, Leland from down the street. I already get to see him, shirtless on the days he's using his riding lawnmower. I don't need to be gifted with the bottom half too. I'm fully okay. Just no, nudity in nature is how you get poison ivy on your hoo-ha. And I don't want to put ER doctors through that. They've been through enough. One of France's most famous nude beach towns, Cannes Sumar, is located between Cannes and Nice, and hilariously poked fun at for perverts trying to glimpse naked women in a 2004 slapstick comedy Eurotrip. Now, the century long nudist culture, or naturalism as it's called, is on display via 600 photos, videos, and everyday objects within Naturalist Paradises, the exhibitionist exhibit. Okie dokie. Only shoes are required simply as a way to avoid getting splinters. What? Okay. One UK visitor who stripped down, 28-year-old Karen Parker Hall, told The Guardian that checking out the show was a once in a lifetime opportunity. He especially appreciated the stigma around nudity was much less in France than across the channel. Being naked in England is seen as something a bit bizarre and shameful, he said, before seemingly referencing his home country's less than inviting climate. It's cold. Another museum goer, Julie Guinole, 34 or 38, fancied a stroll around the exhibit in her birthday suit. It's not every day you get to walk around a museum naked, she told France 24. When we arrived, we felt a bit lost, but it's not so strange. Well, I mean, I guess it does lessen your carry-on travel. It's probably the cheapest way to fly anymore. But there you go. If you want to go to France and see pictures of nudists in the nude, then bless you. Go see that. Well, this will be the new scare tactic. What is Oropoche virus, known as sloth fever? Because apparently 21 people returning from from Cuba to the US have brought this lovely disease home. Okay, can we just get rid of mosquitoes? What do they do that's good? They're not pollinators. They just seem to be disease vectors. Can we just go on an all assault on mosquitoes? Could we do that? I don't see the problem with it. I think we could, it would bring humanity together if we all simply, you know, shifted all of our hate to the mosquito. More than 20 people returning to the US from Cuba have been infected with a virus transmitted by bugs in recent months. Federal health officials said Tuesday they all had Oropoche virus disease, also known as sloth fever. Oh my gosh, sloth. But Does that mean they drive really, really fast cars like Zootopia? None have died, and there's no evidence that it's spreading in the United States, but officials are warning US doctors to be on the lookout for the infection in travelers coming back from Cuba and South America. This virus is native to forested tropical areas, and it was first identified in 1955 when a 21 or 24-year-old forest worker on an island of Trinidad and was named for a nearby village and wetlands. It's sometimes been called sloth fever because scientists first investigating the virus found it on a three-toed sloth, believing that sloths were important to the spread between insects and animals. The virus is spread to animals by small biting flies called midges, and some types of mosquitoes. Humans have become infected while visiting forested areas and are believed to be responsible for helping the virus make its way into cities and towns, but person to person transmission hasn't been documented. So it looks like there were large outbreaks in the Amazon region, South America, and the Caribbean. It's been most currently reported in Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, and Peru. Now, the symptoms can seem similar to other tropical diseases like dengue, Zika, or malaria. Fever, headaches, muscle aches are common, with some infected people also suffering from the runs, nausea, vomiting, or rash. It looks like the only other concern is that there might be a chance of passing on certain birth defects if a mother carrying a fetus or carrying a child is bitten at that time, sort of the same way that Zika did for a while. So it looks more like this is just becoming endemic to more areas as people continue to be able to migrate better. And, you can be in, San Francisco, and then in a couple hours you can be in New York. Well, obviously, we're going to have diseases become endemic in different places because of human movement. So there you go. Just one more fun thing that mosquitoes have given us. Still don't understand why they were allowed on the ark. uh, this judge has absolutely no patience for this woman, and I can't help but think that I would be this judge. Make yourself a better human. Judge scolds mom who lost two of her children in a car crash when she stopped to pick up lost luggage on the highway while intoxicated. Yeah, I think I'd say some meaner things, so there you go. A Southern California mother will spend the next few years behind bars after an attempt to gather up some wayward luggage on a highway that led to the tragic death of two of her children. In February, Sandra Ortiz, 34, pled guilty to 3 counts of child endangerment, two of which came with a sentencing enhancement for the deaths, and one of driving while under the influence. She had previously faced charges of driving under the influence, gross vehicular manslaughter, and child endangerment. On Tuesday, the defendant was sentenced to 3 years and 4 months in a state prison for the alcohol-induced incident that ultimately killed her 10-year-old son, Alan, and her 16-year-old daughter, Amy. On Father's Day last June, as evening turned toward night, Ortiz was driving her family to a park in their GMC SUV. At the time, the family was homeless, with many of their belongings kept in luggage. During the drive along California's State Route 78, commonly referred to as SR 78 by locals, some of the luggage fell off the top of their vehicle. So Ortiz pulled the vehicle over onto the right shoulder near Mara Vista Drive exit in Vista, a suburb of San Diego. Police claim the children walked into oncoming traffic on a mission to retrieve the fallen luggage and were fatally hit by a Nissan sedan. One of the children was later told their father, who was not with them at the time, that their brother and sister immediately got out of the SUV to get the luggage, despite their mother telling them not to do so, according to San Diego-based Fox affiliate KUSI. My daughter was a special, beautiful girl. She had a lot of dreams. She wanted to have a bakery shop. She loved to bake. The children's father told the television station, "And my boy, he was my firstborn son." The children's father remembered his son as a great dancer who dreamed of becoming an architect. He noted that each of the other four children witnessed the horrific accident unfold. "That was one of the hardest moments to see as a father, just two bodies lying there," he said. "Every day I wake up just looking at their faces in my head, and every night I go to sleep dreaming of them. It's the only place I can be with them." Now, Ortiz was arrested on the spot. She had a blood alcohol content of 0.14 at the time of her arrest. The legal limit in the Golden State and everywhere else that wants to receive federal, highway tax money is 0.08. Quickly released on her own recognizance, Ortiz found herself back in jail a month after the crash. Prosecutors said she began drinking again among the other pretrial release violations. A GoFundMe for the family exceeded the goal set with an aim of providing funeral services and helping them beat homelessness. Emotions climbed high during Ortiz's tear-filled sentencing hearing on Tuesday, according to the courtroom report by KUSI. "I'm doing everything in my power to switch my life around," Ortiz said while crying and pointing to the ruinous role that alcohol has played in her life. "I will continue to do everything you guys ask me to do." Her defense attorney sought to impress upon the court that the still grieving mother has changed significantly since the time she used alcohol to self-medicate from extensive past trauma. After a series of the horrific series of events, the worst possible thing did happen, Ortiz's public defender said. "The only thing that matters now in Sandra Ortiz's life, and the only reason Sandra Ortiz has dedicated every ounce of her being, it's to treatment and therapy so she can provide her for living children with the love and care those children do deserve from their mother." Ortiz's family also asked the judge not to keep Ortiz behind bars, according to a courtroom report. "We need her," the since condemned woman's mother-in-law said, with the help of a translator. "I don't want to watch the other children's lives be ruined. They need their mother very much." The state, for their part, agreed that the woman had likely changed for the better, particularly with regard to her alcohol consumption. Still, prosecutors demanded punishment, and the court obliged. Quote, "I really hope that, Miss Ortiz, after you serve your term in prison, that you will continue with your path to sobriety," the judge overseeing the case intoned. "It has to continue when you get released from prison, not only to make yourself a better human, but for your children." Ortiz was not sentenced for the DUI charge, a spokesperson for San Diego County District Attorney's Office told Law and Crime. The plea agreement resulted in a lid on the sentencing of 10 years and 8 months, meaning she could have been sentenced to anywhere from time served with probation to 10 years, 8 months behind bars, the DA's office said. Ultimately, the judge opted for the lower end. She will also receive 332 days credit for her pretrial detention. I hope she can make a change. It seems sad that that was your rock bottom. And your kids need you to acknowledge your mistake and get clean and get healthy. What they don't need is a mom who's still self-medicating. And I'm sorry, but you need to demonstrate at least a year or two of you being sober. You were let out on your own recognizance, and we're back to drinking within weeks. Don't play a player. I have been around addicts. I believe you can make a change, but show you actually do it. The words mean nothing until you actually do it. Walk the walk, and then you can become the mother that your kids were supposed to have. But don't just tell me you're going to do it. Do it, because I have no trust. Well, in something that I can only say will probably end you up with, look, someone's going to get hurt doing this. It's just going to happen. Hundreds of people cruise Philadelphia streets in the 15th annual Philadelphia Naked Bike Ride. I mean, seems like a odd way to want to sit on a bicycle, but okay. Hundreds of people in various states of undress cruise the street of Philadelphia to cheers from onlookers Saturday evening and in the 15th annual Philly Naked Bike Ride. Why? I'm not a dude. I mean, I have lady bits, and why would anyone sit on a bicycle seat with lady bit? No protection. But dangly bits, you're gonna put that real close to a bike chain. I mean, it's your bike ride. Maybe the wind flapping across. I'm seeing exaggerated just bits and pieces just flying backwards, caught in the wind. The annual ride, which started in 2009, is billed as promoting cycling as a key form of transportation and fuel conscious consumption. It's also meant to encourage body positivity. I give, I, g- it is a public service thing. You would think that you wouldn't. I am simply thinking about well, not your person. I'm thinking about all the dangly bits that are going to be going to be hurt. It, I, you know, and honestly, if you would like to be nude, that is fine. I will probably never be comfortable being a nudist. That's just a no for me. But hey, if you would like to ride a bicycle naked, that is fine. Just don't expect me to ever encourage ever join. Now, organizers do stress, however, that participants are not required to ride completely nude, telling them to go as bare as you dare. Organizers said the ride wasn't limited only to bicycles, but welcomed all form of human-powered transports, including rollerblades, skates, skateboards, and scooters. They also point to a code of conduct that bars any kind of physical or sexual harassment. The course changes each year, but it generally highlights city landmarks. So this year, the riders assembled in the city's large Fairmont Park and got themselves adorned with body paint before starting a 12-mile route down the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. Ben Franklin would have been absolutely, you know, okay with this. Ben Franklin was a perv. Like, Ben Franklin went over to France and whew, I think he brought the clap back over, to be honest. Moe's fractured history. I don't think that's true, but he was a bit of a horn dog. So now the ride used to be held in September, but with temperatures around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, uh, naked riders mentioned feeling chilly, so that it was moved to August several years ago. The 2020 ride was almost called off because of the coof. So back to tradition, naked bike riding or rollerblading. You know, I will say it is very difficult to look graceful rollerblading when you're me. So I could only imagine myself, in this buff thing with the elbow braces, the knee braces. Someone had the full safety kit with the helmet, but just nude. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but I'm just imagining you have all the safety. What are these headlines? What is going on here? I have no idea. Well, it almost worked for him. A hidden murder suspect fell through kitchen ceiling as feds searched home near the scene of a fatal shooting. If only he had just stayed on the beams. If he would have gotten away with it. A man sought in a Tennessee murder fell through the ceiling in the home where he was hiding and arrested by the U.S. Marshal Service. Dario Wilkerson, 20, was captured in a dramatic fashion on Monday at a Memphis home about a block away from where he is accused of participating in a fatal shooting of Troy Cunningham, 27, on April 2nd after a fight, the U.S. Marshal Service announced in a news brief. Wilkerson had been hiding in an attic in a home in the 1400 block of North Moulton Street. Authorities had tracked him down to the residence and were searching for him when he broke through the drywall ceiling above the kitchen. He wasn't hurt and was quickly arrested by the task force of deputy marshals and Shelby County Sheriff's Office and the Memphis Police Department fugitive apprehension teams. Well, not so great. Cunningham was found on the sidewalk near Piers and Morton Street in North Memphis on April 2nd, suffering, or I'm sorry, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the back of his head. Now, this allegedly happened over the three men taking Cunningham's pistol, then shooting him. The police got a call about a disturbance nearby that evening, and while investigating, officers heard multiple gunshots. A bullet struck a passing car, hitting a woman in the vehicle in the shoulder, prosecutors said. She was hospitalized with a non-life-threatening wound. The two men were arrested the following month, including one who authorities said took Cunningham's gun. And thank you for the membership. And let me get that pulled up because I was behind today, but I managed not to send my youngest son with a Kersey tumbler to school. So, take the small wins. Sometimes, once in a while, just take them. And that went to Neat Scholar. Well, if only he had a stud finder. That is right, greedy bloke. I learned all what a stud finder was. And then I just kept using it in conversations, and Mr. Moe was not amused yesterday. What are you going to do with me? Who knows? Video footage caught the confrontation and allegedly shows where one assailant is pointing the weapon at Cunningham, who raised his hands, while Wilkerson allegedly lunged at him. Now, a witness heard suspects tell the victim they were going to take his gen, a slang for a Glock handgun, the outlet reported. Wilkerson is among three arrested in May 2023 in connection to a series of Memphis burglaries and vehicle thefts dating to January 2021. Now, I have the story of what Mr. Moe has to deal with because now I super duper want one of these. And I may be putting this in, but oh my gosh. Mom buys a hot tub for her squirrels and husband's reaction is priceless. This should just say what Moe will be doing today. A woman was feeling judged by her husband when he wouldn't give her the reaction she was looking for, but we think she shouldn't pay him any mind. We think that the squirrel hot tub she brought home was really cool, and people in the comments section totally agreed. Bradley Medarius captured the moment when his dad was in complete disbelief by the find and then shared it online. Now, personally, we think a squirrel hot tub is really, really cool. Hey, I am trying to bribe my squirrels because they keep eating the wires in our cars. And honestly, last time they ate my brake lines. So I don't know what I did to small woodland creatures in a past life, but I would just like to say that this current iteration of Moe loves you all. I love you. Whatever bad Moe did in the past, don't punish this Moe. Can you imagine a bunch of squirrels meeting in your yard to go to a hot tub? Well, that would be incredible, but not everyone can see the vision. The father was immediately dismissive. No, you did not, he told his wife. That's so stupid. It's not stupid if you want your squirrels to have a hot tub. The squirrels will love it, his wife shot back, but her husband was not convinced. Look, all I am saying is I must have been a worse Snow White than Rachel Zegler with all these small woodland creatures trying to hurt me. I mean, Celestial Force, that's not the worst of it. So I live out in the rural country and I've taken over Mr. Moe's car. He had an honest to God ground squirrel get into his car and build a burrow in his back seat. We tried luring it out. We tried putting the cats in the car. It was an ordeal. And I'm like, why does this only happen to us? I mean, how am I going to go to the junkyard and tell them I need a new back seat because we had a ground squirrel try to burrow in it? And he sends I mean, I would send me if I were a dude to go explain this story because, yeah, who would claim that? So every time I would be driving that car when we could not get it out, I was always afraid, I'm like, "I am gonna end up on the 7 o'clock news, and the officer is gonna say to me, 'Would you like to explain this 27, n no one got injured, but this 27, car pileup?'" And I'll be like, "Look, it was the ground squirrel, and what had happened, your officerness, is we've done tried to get this house squirrel to get out, but he will not listen. He's a political prisoner. He's seeking asylum in our car. We don't know if he's gonna be safe. Just I mean, I can't. Oh, good lord. You know oh, oh my god, celestial force. I would not remain calm. No. The police would pull me over. "Why are you speeding away from us?" "There's an effing mouse, and I'm taking him with me, okay?" Just run out the car, shoot it," and they're like, "Ma'am, get on the ground, get on the ground." I'm like, "No, shoot the car, there's a mouse." Ah, we can, So again, my plea, whatever bad and terrible Mo did to small woodland creatures in a past life, current Mo loves all creatures as long as they stay out of my car and away from me. I won't mess with you, you don't mess with me. How about we'll work on that. But I am going to let you guys go. Let me see who is on this morning to uh send you guys off to. And then remember that there is going to be no mornings with or not mornings with my legal shenanigans theater. Saturday, there will be Sunday, because I am going to help my mother-in-law move into a little bit more one step up more with more assistance assisted living. So that will be fun. And then, oh my gosh, I swear today is just Attack of the Squirrels. Where am I? What are we doing? Okay. Looks like we have Legal Vices is on, and I will send you over there. Yes, so I'm sending you guys to Vices. Let him know that I sent you over. I am going to go start packing for 3 feral boy children so that they won't take, like, a flip-flop, a rain boot, 1 pair of underwear for all 3 of them, and, like, a sock. Real world. So I'm gonna be out doing laundry and getting everyone packed up, probably Mr. Mo too. But I might buy a squirrel hot tub and do an unboxing and see what Mr. Mo thinks. Maybe I need to appease the squirrels. I think this might be a good, like, peace offering. But have a wonderful day, you guys. I will see you later. I will try to get some newsy news nuggets out and maybe a short little Mo knows all thing going. But today is going to be pretty much packing and helping Mr. Mo, finish the stairs. Maybe I'll get to play with some more power tools. This could only end dangerously for all of us. Bye, guys.